What's up, you guys? It's Adam Hume here with another 5 meaningful minutes, and I ask for your patience, and I apologize because today might go a little longer than 5 minutes as I try to explain some things that I've been wrestling with personally these past couple days. And I don't know if you know this, but today is International Peace Day. I saw it on Facebook. I didn't know that was an actual thing, but maybe it's pretty apt. What I'm going to talk about today. Because it's National Peace Day. I don't know, it doesn't make a difference, but I just thought it was coincidental. There hasn't been a lot of peaceful things happening as of late here in the United States. You had the bombings this weekend in New York City. It was just crazy to think about. And then you had the video from Tulsa, the African American man being shot by police. You have the video, or not the video, but the instance in Charlotte, outside of Charlotte, another African American man being shot by police, and there's differing opinions, and there hasn't been a lot of peace lately, and I want to say a couple things before I start this video, and I think it's sad that I need to say it because we can't seem to come together on a lot of issues nowadays in America, and the moment you stand for one thing, a lot of times means that you're automatically against something else, and I think that that's wrong, and that can kind of dilute or muddle the conversation. But let me just start with a few disclaimers. Number one, sorry, that was my dog Link. He hurt his tail, so he's in a rough spot. Number one, I don't hate America. Number two, I don't hate police officers. I have uncles who are police officers. I have people who in my family who have served in armed forces. I don't know. I just feel like I need to say those things to you guys because, I feel like maybe some of the other things that I'm going to say might cause you to think otherwise. So I want to say that. I also want to say from the get-go that it has been tough as a white man to watch some pretty confusing things happen between police officers and black people. As a white man who has a lot of black friends, African American friends, my heart goes out to them and to the whole black community. I'm sure that things are very confusing. And it must be difficult. And so my heart goes out to you. And that's what this video is all about. As a white man in America, I want to know what I can do and what I think we should do, not as white people, but as white people, black people, Hispanic, Latino, what we as people should do to come together and find some peace through all of this. So, I know I must be well into my 5 meaningful minutes already, but all this stuff that's been happening, the police shootings this weekend in New York, has got me thinking about peace, about the peacemakers. And Matthew 5:9, the Beatitudes, Jesus is talking, and he said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons of God." Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. And I think it's important for us to understand going forward, no matter if you're white or black, no matter if you're, Republican, Democrat, no matter what you are, no matter what some of those adjectives or classifications might be that surround you, it's important to always put biblical classifications before all that stuff. So before I'm a white man, before I'm a Republican, before I'm this or I'm that, Jesus said that it's a blessed thing to be a peacemaker. And so I have to be a peacemaker first. So I have to be a peacemaker before I care about the color of my skin. I have to be a peacemaker before I care about my political agenda. I have to be a peacemaker before I decide whether or not I agree or disagree with Colin Kaepernick. The important thing is to be a peacemaker. And so are you a peacemaker? In these tumultuous times that we live in, are you someone who's making peace? Or are you just creating, more division? Are you creating more frustration? And so, if you were to say, Adam, what does it mean to be a peacemaker? What does that statement mean? Well, the Greek word there actually means to be a lover of peace, someone who loves peace. But I took some time to write out 7 things that I think peacemakers do, or that kind of correlate with peace, and I wanted to share them with you guys. Once again, just in light of all that's happened, I just feel like I and we as Christians need a refresher in this course to be peacemakers. So, the number one thing it takes to be a peacemaker is the understanding that peace takes purpose. Peace takes purpose, and when clashing ideologies or clashing communities, when they come together, peace is not just going to happen. Peace is not discovered. It's created. It's created by people who, it's created by people who are willing to go out and have difficult conversations and see things from another person's point of view and offer different arguments and say, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about this? Peace takes work. It takes purpose. And so if we want more peace in this world, if we want more peace in our communities, if we want more peace in our families, whatever you want more peace in, realize it's going to take purpose. Peace isn't just going to come naturally. It's not going to happen naturally. The number 2 thing that we need to realize when it comes to being a peacemaker is that peacemakers always seek to understand instead of trying to be understood. And, I think that this can be really key for a lot of us, in regards to these shootings that happened these past couple of days. I think it'd be wise for more people to seek to understand what happened and why it happened, and why black people seem to be so, why black people are so upset and concerned with what's going on. And to my white brothers and sisters that are watching this video, we should be concerned and we should seek to understand, why this is such a big deal. Instead of talking about whether we agree or disagree with Colin Kaepernick's protest in light of what happened this weekend, we should seek to go, wow, this is what this guy's talking about. He was so moved by instances like this that he decided to protest in this regard. And what does that mean? And what does that mean for me? Anyways, if you're going to be a peacemaker, you have to seek to understand someone else's point of view. You're never going to be a peacemaker like the Bible talks about if you're always trying to be understood by other people. Well, you don't see it this way, or what about this, or what about that, or what about this? No, that's not peacemaking. Peacemakers, they ask questions and they go, hey, help me understand why you have this point of view. Help me understand why you think this way. Help me understand. And I don't think that there's a lot of that happening. There's a lot of people yelling at each other. There's not a lot of people seeking understanding. The third thing that we need to do to become peacemakers is we need to understand that peace takes humility. Peace takes humility, and what I mean by that is for you to help people come to peaceful understandings, or maybe even for you to have a peaceful understanding about something else, you may need to admit that you're wrong. Maybe there's a belief or an ideology or a way that you view the world that's faulty. And if you want to be a peacemaker, you may have to admit there's something wrong with the way that I've been thinking. There's something wrong with the way that I've been thinking. And so peace takes humility. It takes the understanding that you might at times have to throw your hands up and go, I don't have all the answers and I don't know everything, but how can we collectively come together and make peace and have peace? and operate in peace. So peace takes humility. On the flip side of that, the fourth thing that we need to do to be peacemakers is we need to realize that peace takes strength. It takes great strength to be a peacemaker. And why I say that is because in order to be a peacemaker at the outset, you'll receive a lot of opposition. You know, people don't want peace, they want to win. People don't want peace, they want to be right. People don't want peace, they want things to operate the way they've always operated. And so if you are trying to help communities or races or opposing viewpoints to come together, there's going to be some opposition. As the peacemaker, you're going to have to face into that opposition, and you're going to have to speak to both sides and say, hey, this is wrong, you can't think this way, or hey, that's a good argument, but there's some holes in it here. And so you're going to receive opposition from both sides in order to be a peacemaker. So it takes great strength to go out there and to fight for peace and to have a purpose for peace. Because, you know, people will turn against you as soon as you disagree with them. But that's what it takes to be a peacemaker. Great strength. The number 5 thing that we need to understand when it comes to being a peacemaker is that peacemakers need to use language like us, we, and our. Us, we, and our. That's a peacemaker's language. Us, we, and our. Someone who uses terms like they and them and those people, those people aren't peacemakers. Because we're drawing lines between each other even in our language. And in order to be a peacemaker, you need to understand that we're all the same. That we're all humans. Yes, we have things that make us different, but there's more things that make us alike. And so it's not those people, it's us. What do we need to do? How can we help solve this problem? This is our problem. This is our nation. This is our flag. And how can we make sure we're living in a way that honors that? I mean, like, it's not what they do or what those people are about or what they need to fix. It's about what we need to fix together. And peacemakers use that language. They use the us and the our and the we, because they realize that we're all trying to come together. That's what we need to all try to do. That's not what we're all trying to do, but that's what peacemakers are trying to do. They're trying to bring community and not division. So they use that language to make sure that, you know, we're all supposed to be coming together. Number 6 thing that we need to understand about being a peacemaker is that peacemakers recognize a problem, and as a peacemaker, or as someone who wants to strive for peace, I'll be the first to say that I recognize a problem in this country. There are so many problems in this country, but it's been put in front of my face so many times this year that there's an issue with the way black men are dealt with when it comes to the use of police force. And I recognize that as a problem. And as a peacemaker, I want to be part of the solution. You'll never be a peacemaker if you're ignorant to problems. You'll never be a peacemaker if you're ignorant to what's going on in the world and you think that it'll all work itself out, or if you think that it'll get worked out without your help. That's not what a peacemaker thinks. That's not how a peacemaker thinks. A peacemaker thinks that we all have a responsibility. We all have a part to play to help bring about justice, to help bring about equality, to help bring about reform, to help bring about communication, to help bring about forgiveness and healing. I mean, that's a part we all have to play. But in order for you to play that part at all, you have to recognize that there's a problem. You have to say something's not right. And to my white brothers and sisters, I'd encourage you to watch. Well, you probably watch videos, and the videos that I watch, you know, once again, I don't know all the facts, but I recognize that there is a problem. I recognize that there's a problem. And instead of creating more division about it or whatever. I want to be part of the conversation that brings about reform and change. I want to be known as a peacemaker when it comes to that. But you have to recognize that there's a problem. And anyways, the last thing that I have to say about being a peacemaker is that to be a peacemaker, you need to understand that without justice and equality, there will be no such thing as peace. Without justice and equality for all people across the board, there will never be peace. And so as a peacemaker, that's how this all ties in. That's how this all ties together, because it's easy for me to go, well, I can be a peacemaker in my community. I don't have to be concerned about what's going on nationally or whatever. No. Listen, if there's injustice somewhere, if there is inequality somewhere, then as a peacemaker, that needs to concern me. As a peacemaker, that needs to perk my ears up. And not in a way of what side can I take, what are all the facts, whatever. But I need to perk I need to perk myself up and go, man, how can I be a peacemaker with what just happened? How can I be a peacemaker with what I just saw? How can I be a peacemaker in my community after viewing some of these things on the internet or on YouTube or on the news channel that I've just seen? How can I be a peacemaker? Without justice and equality, there will never be peace. And so, I encourage you, in light of all these things that are going on and all the sides that people are taking, I encourage all of you, especially Christians, to think before I react as a white person, before I react as a black person, before I react as a Democrat, before I react as a Republican, before I react as a family member to a police officer, before I react whatever, to react as a peacemaker. Because if there's anything that this past couple days have shown us, it's that the world needs more peacemakers. The world needs more people out there concerned with bringing people together. The last thing that I want to do before I end is just, I want to share with you guys something, someone that I've really looked up to throughout all this that's happened this year, especially with police shootings and things like that, has been my friend Corey Leak, and he's always on the forefront of, I think, being a peacemaker, being someone who's out there having real conversations, trying to bring people together, trying to show differing points of view, trying to uphold people and lift people up, not only in prayer but in his words. And I had a conversation with him this morning, just via text message, and I just said, hey man, like as a white guy, what can I do to show like support, or to show concern, or to show that that these things that are happening, like, they're affecting me. And he said, honestly, the best thing to do is just to care. And how do we show care is what I asked him. I said, man, that's such an easy answer, but how do we show care and concern for what's going on? And basically what he said in response to that was to not be quiet about it, to talk about it, to address the issues, to have difficult conversations with people, maybe people of other skin color, maybe people of who are in the profession of law enforcement. But if we can have real dialogue about these issues, or get involved in them personally, maybe they'll mean more to us. And so once again, to all my white brothers and sisters out there that might be watching this video, I really encourage you, with all that's going on in the black community, just to care about what's happening. And once again, like, I'll be the first to say that I don't know all the facts surrounding everything, but I know that I have friends that are black, that are very concerned with what they're seeing. And because I love them, and because I want to be a peacemaker, that affects me. And so, if today is International Peace Day, then I'll be praying for peace. And I'll be doing my part to be a peacemaker in this world. The sort of peacemaker that Jesus talks about will be blessed. And I hope that you do as well. So thank you guys for watching this 5 meaningful minutes. I hope you have a great day.